The interview is a very important part of the job search process that you should focus on, and how you perform during the interview could make all the difference between getting the job and walking home empty-handed. Hello once again, I'm Adam, and this is the fourth and final video in our Finding the Job You Want series. You can check the others out about building a resume or your cover letter at the link above. And I pray that these tips from my experience that I've shared with you have been a benefit. Going into an interview without preparation is never advisable. The goal is to do everything within your power to present yourself as the best candidate for the job. And dressing the part and practicing the way you will answer and ask questions is vital to the success of that interview. From the first handshake to that final farewell, you're going to be evaluated on your poise, appearance, posture, skills, abilities, and persuasiveness. Your ability to respond to pressure and even your own mistakes will tell that employer about the kind of person that you are. And the first step you need to do is dress for success. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Now, there are different types of interviews that you're going to get yourself into, and it's important for you to know which type you're having so that you can be well prepared. The first one we're going to talk about here is the direct interview. In this interview, generally, it just involves the candidate and a hiring manager. It's relatively rigid in the type of format which a hiring manager relies upon straightforward questions that they've been prepared to ask, and all they want is the interviewee to answer those questions. So if you can answer those questions well and keep your answers short and straight to the point, you're going to be successful in those. Now, the second type of interview is the behavioral interview. And this one focuses more on the ability that you have to solve problems, or how you might lead, the way you might handle conflict resolution or stress management. The questions are usually asked in a format that requires you, the candidate, to think about specific examples of how you would handle situations. The questions might come across or be phrased like, "Tell me about a time when," or "What would you do if?" This type of interview may be considered a bit more intense than a direct interview. And you need to know that they're really looking at how you act and react just as much as they will at the answers you give. Thirdly, it's the group interview. This isn't as common, but in this, employers use a group of people and see how you interact with each other. So there's all kinds of candidates sitting around. This type might be a little bit overwhelming to keep track of the interviewer, who they're asking questions to, and what answers everyone's given. For me, I find this extremely distracting. But knowing that staying focused is the key to success, I get locked in and ready ahead of time. And it's the most valuable piece of advice I can give you in this type of interview is to focus on the questions that are being asked. Try to come up with how you might add to what others have already said. Show that you're really a team player. And I think that will be a step up to getting this sort of job that they're looking for when they have multiple interviewees in the same room. Fourthly, I want to talk about a panel interview. And a panel interview consists of several representatives of the company. And their job is to judge how you answer the questions. The best way to master this type of interview is to stay calm at all times and be mindful of your body language. The words that you speak and the meaning that those words give by the way you act is what they'll be looking at. As I grew in my career and the jobs became a higher level, this type of interview became more common. The use of behavioral questions is a tool used by many employers to understand your thought process when you're confronted with certain situations. And many of these situations begin with, "Tell me of a time when," or for instance, "Tell me of a time when you had to fire someone," or "Tell me of a time when you witnessed a coworker breaking policy. What did you do? And what was the outcome?" They are simply trying to find out your character. So don't get tripped up. Just answer sincerely and clearly. There's no need to expand on thoughts or ideas unless you're asked to. The more time that you can spend in an interview listening, the better it will go. People love to talk about themselves, and they barely listen to you talk about yourself. The interviewer is likely to be moving on to the next question as you finish your answer. The ability to answer a question well requires great listening skills. So remember, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. In the interview, listen twice as much as you speak. Anticipating the kind of questions you will be asked helps prepare you for the interview. Before answering, make sure that you understand the question completely. And feel free to always ask for clarification of any part of the question that you may not understand. You know, some interviewers, they flat out love to be confusing. So just remind yourself that you're in this interview because they need you at their workplace, and it's not the other way around. So if you don't know the answer to that question, be prepared to respond in a way that doesn't show a lack of confidence or any lack of ability to obtain an answer. Simply saying, I've never encountered that before, but I'm willing to take on challenges, and I have a willingness to learn. Or, I've never worked on a team that kind of works that way before, but I enjoy contributing to collaboration. Answering in an honest and sincere way is going to be the best way to answer any question in an interview. I really want to encourage you that how you behave is vital, and becoming overly nervous or defensive is really what you're trying to avoid. So don't give any more information than the question itself requires. Don't ramble on and show your nerves, because all that really does is give the interviewer the idea that you lack confidence and you don't know what you're talking about. I want you to keep in mind that in this whole process, you're finding out also if you want to work for this company. They're not only figuring out if they want to hire you, but do you want to work there too? And how the interviewer acts might show you clues on whether or not you do want to be there as an employee. Asking pertinent questions is a fantastic way to gain the respect of the employer and to demonstrate that you have an awareness about the nature of the work and the company that you plan on working for. Relevant questions demonstrate a curiosity and an awareness that they're not only interviewing you, but you're also interviewing them. The employer-employee relationship is not simply one-sided. Your comfort and happiness in the job is just as important as their satisfaction with you as a member of their team. And just a reminder, it is the compilation of all of your answers that are going to be judged to whether or not you get the job or not. So don't worry too much about just one single answer, and try not to focus too much on how great or how ungreat you answered something. It's easier to overcome a simple bad answer by your posture and confidence than it is by trying to make up for it with a longer answer in another question. Just be confident, be yourself. So as you end the interview, be courteous and ask them how you might follow up with them. Now, if you ask how to follow up with them, pay attention and do it that way. If at some point during your conversation the interviewer says, the best way to reach me is by phone, then for goodness sakes, reach out to him by phone. Don't disregard what he has to say or she has to say and email instead to follow up. Pick up your phone, make the phone call because that's what they asked for. It shows more drive and it shows respect. If the interviewer doesn't mention a specific kind of way to contact them, and there's a business card, and you have a choice between an email and a phone number, I would always use the email first. Now, if they don't seem to respond to that, I would make a quick but impactful phone call to make sure that they know that I'm interested. I hope that the tips here help you find the zone of success and allows you to leave fear of an interview lagging far behind. Now get out there and be awesome. If you'd like to know more about finding the job that you're really looking for, check out the video here. You really should check it out because it will help you find the job that you're truly looking for.